Flashing.
Why is it that when I flash somebody?
Oh my god. Oh!
The TEC-9, otherwise known as an abysmal piece of dog. The gun really doesn't like to run. So I want to just clarify before I say anything else that I do actually very much like this gun, which is why I'm doing a video on it. I want this to work so bad. Come on. If you had to count how many light primer strikes, how many misfeeds, how many like just malfunctions that we had in general, Dan?
I think you've had more malfunctions in round.
Yeah, I agree. Nonetheless, it's a super cool piece of pop culture, lore, firearms, manufacturing history, stuff like that. There have been a lot of other people who've talked about this gun before, plenty of other more qualified people that have a better grasp of the history of the firearm and its development, so I'll leave that to them. What interests me more about this gun is why it's so prolific, how it ended up in like every 80s action, or 80s and 90s action movie on the planet.
Great work, Jack. Yeah, we're all inside. Meet Gracie and Marlo. And Uncle Chew and Egg, they're out in the street, Meg's bus, ready to get us out of here. Great. Here, Jack. Hey, I'll trade you.
I want breakfast.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry, too.
Get a gun! Let's get organized. Calm down.
It's been referenced in countless rap songs, movies, video games, pretty much since the gun's inception. It kind of falls in a small category of firearms that you kind of see exclusively in action media, not for really any good reason. It's a very unique looking gun, and just the profile of it, I mean, this was marketed as a handgun in the US market. By all intents and purposes, it is a handgun, but was not designed as such, was not designed as a semi-automatic handgun. It is definitely riding that line right in the middle where it is kind of too big to be a handgun, but definitely, I mean, it is a submachine gun at the end of the day. The original Intradynamics MP9 was the original iteration of the firearm. It was a full auto select fire submachine gun that was made in Sweden, marketed to military and police up there, found no interest, and so it made its way over to the US civilian market. And the thing with the development of this gun, the company went so hard on this particular firearm. They went through so much like legislation that targeted their gun specifically. They brought it from overseas to bring it to the US market. I respect the faith that they had in their design. I respect the energy behind trying to keep this gun alive for as long as they could until the company went bankrupt. It literally took the market saying, we don't want this piece of for them to finally stop. So props to them for sticking it out for the better part of 20, almost 30 years. Honestly, it takes a lot of drive to do that. So I brought out two versions today for us to look at. This is the original TEC-9 variant. There were a number of different variants, mostly due to the legislation that got passed as a result of these guns. This one here is a 5-inch barrel, and this one is a 3-inch, though I can't imagine that it really matters much. They are not terribly accurate firearms.
Did you get a clip?
Hit something. No. No.
It's like you can one-tap while running occasionally, but you have to shoot it so slow.
This thread pitch doesn't really exist for many other firearms. Interestingly, this does share aftermarket accessory compatibility with the Mac platform, more specifically the Cobra M11 in 9mm. Barrel extension that you see in the video, this is actually from a Cobra M11. This, I believe, is a 3/4 by 10 TPI. I don't know of really many other firearms that have a thread pattern like that. I think there's a lot of aftermarket accessories for both of these guns in a 1/2 by 28, but not in the ones that I have here. The other mini TEC-9 obviously is not threaded. Originally, they were marketed with a forward grip that does attach into these little holes here. This is not a standard rail system or of any kind. It's just their own proprietary bolt-on kind of stuff. Original magazine capacity, they came with anywhere in between a 10 to 50 round magazine. This one here is a 32. The one you see in the mini is a 10 round magazine. We had trouble even getting through 10 rounds during pretty much every shooting portion anyway, so it's not like 32 rounds does us any good here. Original sticker price on the gun back in the mid 80s, early 90s was $260, which adjusted for inflation today is about $700, $760, somewhere in that ballpark. I feel like at this point it's kind of a misconception that they were as popular as they were back in the day because of how cheap they were. If you were buying these off the shelf, that is more expensive than a Glock, pretty much any model that exists, and so I don't know why they would not have just gone and spent the money on something better like that at the time. But maybe even then it goes back to the pop culture and how prolific it was in media at the time. Interestingly too, if you go on Gunbroker and look at these guns, what you will often find for sale are actually parts kits for them. You'll find complete upper barrel assemblies, trigger parts kits and everything all packaged together, minus the receiver. The reason why is because the firearm actually does kind of fall apart under heavy use. A lot of the guns that are on the market do have cracks in the receiver, more around the trigger pins, and recoil beats the shit out of them and they just fall apart. To add a little more substance to the video, me and Dan are going to run through a little challenge here. We brought the the plate rack out and we're going to attempt to clear it through the malfunctions and see who has the faster time. The gun is not a very accurate one. I imagine that we're not going to have the best time shooting it, and we're probably going to spend more time clearing the gun, trying to clear a malfunction rather than actually clearing the plate, but I expect somewhere in the range of about 30 to 45 seconds of being able to clear the plate rack. So what do you think, Dan?
Give her a run.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the first crack at this. Have a firing line probably about 20 feet away, 20 to 25 feet. We'll just clear the plate rack one side and then shoot it back on the other. Whoever's able to do that fastest will win the challenge. The accuracy of a firearm does not instill confidence in being able to hit it very much further, so we're gonna go ahead and run it from right here. I'm ready when you are, Dan. Go ahead and give me a little countdown.
Stand by. Beep.
Okay, there's one app. All right, and that one bounced back on its own. All right, Dan, beat that.
I think where you messed up is this gun was obviously geared towards criminals, and you didn't have your shiesty on for the time.
I did not.
I'm ready to spin the block. You weren't, and I think that's just going to help me do a little bit better here on this challenge. So I might. Yeah, that's how we'll do it. Give me a beep.
All right, does the shooter understand the course of fire?
Yep. All right, seems about fair. Dude, this thing's a piece of can't even get through a full mag in this thing. I've got more ammo on the ground right now than in the actual gun. There we go, we cleaned it, dude.
All right.
I want to give this thing a second shot. I feel like because I had the shiesty on, maybe it didn't know it was me. So hopefully it'll run better this go around.
It was definitely the shiesty.
Dude. This gun simply just does not like criminals. That's what it is. I kind of like this thing again now.
It has definitely had its moments where it has run well, has not run well. It's such a hit or miss gun though. Like,
yeah, I think the sun was in its eyes when it had the shiesty on, so it couldn't see what it was doing. But now that I don't have the shiesty on, she's just running like a top, man.
Officer. Coughlin.
and to your point, Dan, I was not wearing my shiesty, but I did notice that while you were shooting with said shiesty, you had 3 or 4 malfunctions. So I decided to even it up a little bit. We're doing some real world application stuff here. I'm gonna wear the shiesty for this portion as well. But let's say you and the homies are spinning the block as one does. You would have your TEC-9 here in your car, and in preparation to spin said block, you'd be listening to Taylor Swift and cruising with your homies. When you spot an op, as you can see demonstrated by our plate rack here, and we're going to air out this op. God, that hurt to say. Okay, go ahead and count me down, Dan. I'm gonna be shooting right-handed here. I'm using the door to stabilize it, so we'll be just shooting one-handed as if, you know, I'm sitting here, driving, we stop, I shoot out the window. I think that's what's best here.
This is like a real-world accuracy.
This is a real-world accuracy test, so who knows, maybe just the presence of the car being in the car actually helps us here. We'll find out. Go ahead and count me down, Dan.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Stand by.
Oh, this is so bad. Anyway, as you can see from a real world application standpoint, this is probably not the go-to for drive-by.
I think the ops would have killed us by now.
The ops would have aired us out instead. This plate rack would have aired us out for sure.
Beep.
All right, you know what? 2 rounds on target. I'm good with that.
Good enough, dude. I mean, you generally don't get all your ops at one go.
Yeah, right. That was 6 ops there, and we got 2. We got 2 of the 6 ops. That actually, as far as real world data goes, I think that's probably about pretty average, so I'm okay with that. Regardless of outcome for the test that we ran today, I still had fun making the video. I spent the money on these guns, so you don't have to. I will say that the only thing that I would say this is good for is purely as a set piece, purely as a safe queen, if it can even be considered that, just to pull it out when you're talking to your homies about the cool guns that you own. Is it worth spending $700 to $1,000 on? I would say no, but I did it twice. And every time that I'm watching No Country for Old Men in my underwear, I have it sitting next to me on the couch. Would recommend you at least try shooting it. If you have a chance to, if you have a buddy that has one or you do want to end up owning one, go ahead and hop on Gunbroker and pick up one of these. And of all of the unjustifiable gun purchases out there that you don't want your wife to get upset at you about, I don't think that it's worth sleeping in the doghouse over a TEC-9. Would you spend $700 on this gun, Dan?
$700 on this gun. I truly don't think I would. That gets you a lot of bush lights, and you could have a lot more fun with like 1,400 bush lights. So.
You could use the TEC-9 to acquire said bush lights.
That is a good call. And I could probably get more than $700 worth of bush lights if I had this gun.
Think of the TEC-9 as an investment.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to make videos on submachine gun platforms like this. I think it's probably my personal flavor of autism, the kinds of guns that I really, truly, deeply enjoy. A lot of tube guns, pistol caliber subguns that don't really have as much of a place anymore. There's plenty of other guns that are better than these. You can spend the same amount of money on and get 10 times the performance out of. So as I mentioned before, Max, also another one that I have in the collection. I think we're probably gonna end up making that video next. But this is definitely the worst of, I think, the entire spread of this era of subguns. I don't think it gets worse than this. Please let me know if you think otherwise. If there's another gun that I need to buy that's a poorer performer than the TEC-9 is, I don't think it can get much worse. I don't think I've seen a gun have quite so many malfunctions but still have as much of a media presence. You just see this gun pop up everywhere. It's so ironic that that's the case because this is not something that I think is worth the money. Nonetheless, it is a cool gun. I think it's cool. But yeah, we're gonna be making a few other videos on other guns similar to this, so stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you guys watching this one. We did have fun, as we do every time. So thanks again for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Might rush B later. You wanna join?
Yeah.
Yeah.